This video will bring up all the problems I've had with Dandy's World and why you shouldn't waste your time on it. When I first started my Dandy's World journey, I thought it was just one of those run-of-the-mill Roblox games, so I gave it a try, and I thought it was kind of mid, and I got off the game for a while, and that's where it should have ended. But then I made the mistake of playing again. But this time it was different. This time, I actually stayed enough to get my rewards, and they weren't much at all. Very little, I couldn't even get anything new. This brings up the first issue with the game, it being too grindy. You keep playing the game not because it's fun, but because you want the satisfaction of getting something that's worth it. Something that makes it feel like all that wasted time was worth it. So I put this idea in my head that I was having fun, when in reality I was just praying all those months of grinding would just pay off. This problem started occurring to me when I first got Astro. He was not doing good for me at all and it felt like I just wasted my time. I thought that was just a one-time thing, so I decided to keep playing, thinking, maybe next time. And then the next time it was Sprout, and it was somehow even worse. Like, I would genuinely just play Cosmo. He's arguably the better option. This brings up the second issue of poor game design. All the tunes feel like they're just copy and pasted versions, with the only difference being they're either slightly better or slightly worse than the original. This is evident in previously mentioned Sprout and Cosmo, Tisha and Astro, and the list can go on. When it comes to good game design, you shouldn't make one character outmatch the other, because that just makes one or the other just useless. I convinced myself I was having fun, but in reality, we get into the third issue, which is addictiveness. Now, don't get me wrong, addictive games aren't bad, it's just all about the way you handle them. I was not having fun, I was just addicted and hoping that all my wasted time would eventually pay off. Y'all, if you're in this situation, don't lie to yourself. Just admit that this isn't working out for you and play another game. And now we get into the biggest issue, which is the gameplay loop. Now, on paper, it actually sounds like something pretty decent. And I'd say on paper, it even sounds like a pretty enjoyable experience. But this is handled so poorly because of previously mentioned poor game design. Twisteds don't feel like a threat, they just feel like a minor inconvenience. So they end up either being pretty easy to avoid or won't hurt you at all if you have something called eyeballs. And don't even get me started on Dial. Now, on paper, the idea of his boss floor is actually pretty fun, but again, it's executed so poorly. Game designers need to realize that making it hard doesn't mean it's going to be a fun challenge. So in the end, the Dial floor just ends up feeling like it's not worth it. Now we get to the biggest problem of the game, which is distracting. Now let me get this clear. It is not entirely the game's fault. Or at least not mostly the game's fault. It's mostly the players who are distracting and the people behind the game themselves, because they're actually supporting distracting. What distracting essentially does gets rid of the big threat of the game, so it's just basically rinse, cycle, and repeat doing machines again, which is pretty boring. Distracting is either meant for people who just genuinely suck at the game, or people who are just lazy. And in some scenarios, it can even be both. And what kills me further is Quell supporting players to distract. Now, I think this is because Quell noticed our players tend to play longer if the main threat of the game is removed. So she decided if she supports that, she'll get more people to keep playing so she can get more money. Now, this is just what I personally think, since she seems to have some sort of love for money, considering all the merchandise and how she's been caught underpaying her staff and even gatekeeping some of the profit at times. Now, I know this video is a little shorter compared to that 15-minute epic I posted. So, to sum it all up, this game has some good ideas. It really does, but just suffers from poor execution and cash grab slop that's genuinely just not worth your time. If you're watching this, please don't waste your time on this game. I guarantee you there are some better games out there that you should just give a try.